Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the top 5 Bible characters who overcame incredible odds. The Bible is filled with stories of ordinary people who faced impossible situations, yet through faith and perseverance, they experienced God's power in extraordinary ways. These accounts aren't just inspiring, they're reminders that no matter what challenges we face, God can help us rise above them. So let's dive into these powerful stories of triumph and courage. Number 5. Gideon, the reluctant warrior, Judges 6-7. Gideon's story is one of transformation. When we first meet him, he's hiding in a winepress, afraid of the Midianites who were terrorizing Israel. But God calls him a mighty warrior and commands him to lead Israel to victory. Despite his fears and doubts, Gideon obeys. But here's the twist. God doesn't want a large army. He reduces Gideon's forces from 32,000 to just 300 men. Armed only with trumpets, jars and torches, Gideon's tiny army surrounds the enemy camp. When they blow their trumpets and smash the jars, the Midianites are thrown into chaos, turning on each other in the dark. This miraculous victory shows us that God doesn't need a huge army. He just needs our faith and willingness to step out, even when we feel inadequate. The lesson: when we feel weak or overwhelmed, God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. Number 4. Esther, the brave queen, Esther 4-7. Next we have Esther, a young Jewish woman who becomes queen in a foreign land. When a plot is hatched to exterminate all the Jews, her cousin Mordecai tells her that she must speak to the king, even though approaching him uninvited could mean her death. With her people's fate on the line, Esther chooses courage over fear. She boldly enters the king's court, reveals Haman's evil plan, and ultimately saves her people from destruction. Esther's story reminds us that God places us in specific positions for a purpose. Even when the stakes are high and fear tries to hold us back, we must remember Mordecai's words, "Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" The lesson: God can use our positions and influence, no matter how small, to make a difference in the world. We all know the story of David and Goliath, but it never gets old. David was just a shepherd boy when he faced the giant Goliath, a seasoned warrior who struck fear into the hearts of Israel's soldiers. Armed with only a sling and 5 smooth stones, David steps onto the battlefield, rejecting the king's armor and trusting solely in God's strength. With one well-aimed stone, David brings down the giant and delivers Israel from the Philistines. But it wasn't just the stone, it was David's unwavering faith that made the difference. He knew that the battle belonged to the Lord. His victory wasn't just against Goliath, it was against fear, doubt and intimidation. The lesson here is no matter how big the obstacles in our path, if God is with us, we have everything we need to overcome them. Joseph's story is one of perseverance through betrayal, hardship and setbacks. Sold into slavery by his own brothers and later falsely accused and thrown into prison, Joseph could have easily given up, but he didn't. He kept trusting God and using his gifts wherever he was placed. Eventually, his ability to interpret dreams catches the attention of Pharaoh. In one day, Joseph goes from prisoner to prime minister, saving Egypt and his own family from famine. What others meant for evil, God turned into good. The lesson here is, when life seems unfair or when we feel trapped by our circumstances, God is still working behind the scenes. He can turn the lowest moments of our lives into stepping stones for his greater purpose. Topping our list is Moses, a man who started as a prince but became a fugitive after killing an Egyptian. For 40 years he lived as a shepherd in the wilderness, far from his people's suffering in Egypt. But then God appeared to him in a burning bush, calling him to confront Pharaoh and lead the Israelites to freedom. Despite his insecurities and objections, Moses obeyed. Through God's power, he performed signs and wonders, parted the Red Sea, and led an entire nation out of slavery. Moses' story shows us that no past mistake is too big for God to redeem, and no challenge too great for him to overcome. The lesson here is, when God calls us, he equips us. He doesn't choose the qualified, he qualifies the chosen. These 5 Bible characters faced overwhelming odds, but through faith, courage, and obedience, they overcame and became part of God's incredible plan. Which of these stories resonates with you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who needs a reminder that no challenge is too great for God. And don't forget to hit that button for more inspirational content. Thanks for watching and see you next time. God bless.